evening or later, I suppose, for some. Just hanging out in the car. We're going to go to the Englewood City Council meeting here shortly. Irish Rover. It's always the first one in the chat. Hey, thank you, my friend, for being in here tonight. Lenny. Lenny catches alive. How are you, Lenny? Allied Securities over here monitoring the parking lot. Audi Juan Kenobi, how are you? Great Boa. Denise, what's up? Linda, Keeper. DR Broden. 1:30 in the morning for Lenny, but he's hanging in there. Oh, Raymond, thank you. Dirkle, Ruth from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. How are you? Blokamo is in the house. Ivan, Tanya, how are you? Sending love from Wyoming. What's the weather doing? Lots of wind and cold. Yeah, the parking lot monitor is out here, and he best not be parked in that handicapped spot, which he's not. Good evening, Amanda. Yay, so we've got lots of mods in the house. Thank you very much for being here. So we're going to go into the city council meeting in about 30 minutes. So Englewood is in their study session right now. And yeah, let's go. Ronnie, how are you? From South Carolina. Hey, thanks for being in here. And for those of you that have followed me for quite a while, you've heard me say several times, if I had more time, well, I do have more time now. And one of the things that has always interested me is really digging into Englewood because of just, number one, their blatant mistreatment of the homeless, how they spent so much time criminalizing the homeless out of Englewood into Denver. For those of you that don't know the metro area, the cities are very tight here in the metro area. One street, just you cross the street and you're in Denver. So you've got Denver, Englewood, Littleton, Sheridan, and they are just, they converge on each other in just very weird ways throughout all of their cities. And so they like to commingle with each other and, do all the things that government does. And one of the things they do is not help homelessness, but make it worse. So, and really their go-to is to get as many people out of their cities and into Denver as possible. But yet, of course, they want funding, right? I mean, what little municipality is going to miss out on this big money-making scheme, right? So these three little cities over here in the suburbs of Denver, Littleton, Sheridan, and Englewood, have converged into this policy working group called Tri-City Homelessness. And what they've managed to do is create essentially these founding documents where they're using government as their springboard, right? We see this go on all the time. Hey, Kevin, love from Australia. Woo! Be careful around Littleton. Well, there's worse places. But yeah, I mean, I've had my experiences in all of them. And yeah, that's a story for another day. But anyway, they've managed to form this group of key people. And, mods, I should have, hey, Nasty Nathaniel, I'm an auditing legend. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I don't consider myself an auditor. I've said that a million freaking times. I am not an auditor, but I get into auditing situations. So I guess this is one of them, but it still involves just simply holding your government accountable. And I would think more people that want to come down on auditors would get off their asses and actually do something to hold government accountable instead of criticizing people that want to fight for our rights and uphold our rights. And one of those should always be transparency and our right to record. I agree. Where in Sheridan, we know they've shut that down, right? West Palm Beach, Daniel, hey, how's it going? Well, thanks, Big Len. I appreciate that. So just quick house rules. If you're in this chat and you're new and you're here to talk shit about my people, or your commentary about me is something that my mods deem unnecessary in the chat, you're probably going to get booted. I'm just going to be honest with you. So they hold all the keys to running a smooth chat and making sure that it's not getting hijacked. And if you have something prudent to add to the conversation, that's great. But if you're just a jackwagon, we don't want you here. I know other people run their channels and let it all flow. I don't. My channel is just how I want it. So if you can't follow the rules and you've been warned and you get booted, oh well. So yeah. So back to this Tri-City homeless thing. So there's that issue. There's also the other issue of this intense nepotism that goes on. It goes on everywhere, but especially here in Englewood, it has my attention because they are giving another nonprofit free use of their facilities here by way of contract. And with free use of the facilities by Englewood Arts, they're called Englewood Arts. And those of you that watched me make public comment last time I talked about this, they get to generate revenue off taxpayer supported property for free. I mean, there's no strings attached. We're going to give this to you. You go do what you want with it. You host whoever you want in here. You can charge people whatever you want. That's all up to you. The city just asks, that we get first dibs if we want to use it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that seems real smart, right? Well, it's going on. And Englewood Arts gets to hold church using all this taxpayer supported property because they let a church use the facility and they supposedly pay every Sunday. But who would really know, right? Because Englewood Arts gets to hold all of those rental agreements and funds and contracts and whatnot. However, this last round of the city, again, renewing Englewood Arts to have free use of this facility, they said in this contract that these are now public records of the rental room, the room rates, the contract, whatnot. It's supposed to be public record. So I've made that request through the city. So now it makes it unofficial CORA request, which is the Colorado Open Records Act. We have two records laws in Colorado. They're not FOIA, that's federal. Okay. So when you hear me say CORA, that's the Colorado Open Records Act, and CCJRA, the Colorado Criminal Justice Records Act. Those are the two laws we have in this state that records can be held under. Okay. So navigating those laws and all the nuances and reasons that they get to withhold information and what it costs and all these hoops you have to jump through, I do consider myself quite knowledgeable on that subject. So I am going to hold the city to that contract that they presented that said these are now public records when the city requests them. Well, I'm the public and I'm requesting them from the city. The city has acknowledged that request, and they have stated that they've forwarded that on to the appropriate department for response. So they technically, because I goofed, they technically have until tomorrow to respond to that. So this is going to be interesting. So I'm really not going to spend a lot of time tonight talking about that. Whereas I'm going to talk about a few other things that involve homelessness and this tri-city effort that they're launching with a lot of money. And by the way, I attended a meeting this past week here. It was the Tri-Cities, whatever they called it, where they all converged in a meeting room here in Englewood. Littleton, Sheridan, and Englewood. I didn't live stream it. It's not on my channel. I did record it, but it is on the City of Englewood's YouTube channel. So they do have a YouTube channel. And in attendance at this meeting was Ernie Camacho from Sheridan. Remember that guy? Yeah, he wanted to have a stare down contest with me. I pretty much won it. I'm just saying. And then Jay Whitaker was here. And good old Granberry, city manager from Sheridan, was here, sitting next to Sean Lewis, the city manager here in Englewood, who I'm sure is like this with Granberry. Which, by the way, takes me off to another aside on municipalities shutting down public comment. Okay, this is going to be an interesting thing to watch to see if Englewood is going to do that here again tonight. For those of you that were watching that last public comment, when I got up to the podium, what's his name? Ward, Councilman Ward, made an announcement that he wanted to essentially stop online public commenting. Right when I got up there. I thought it was odd. But I let him go ahead and do his thing. And they're claiming, because there was one meeting in another municipality, Wheat Ridge. They don't have any control, apparently. They don't know how to do public sign up. I don't know why this could have happened or would have happened, but they claimed that all of these people just kept calling in and saying horrible things. Racist things, and making lots of inappropriate commentary for their city council meeting. So apparently now the thing is to just shut it all down. Yeah, perfect excuse. And so after I made public comment here, the last time I was here, I left, and one of the things that Englewood does is their city councilors respond to public comment for the evening. And Ward was the city councilman responding to my public comment. And I don't know if anybody has seen that short that I published, but here it is. Just take a listen to what he had to say.
You are on deck when you are ready. A short list tonight. I have no comments for Ms. Benson, who, as I understand it, is not a resident of our city. She's entitled to her opinion, as she is entitled to come here and speak during public comment. Mr. Horag, thank you very much for your constructive support of residents and citizens, and even this body in Englewood. You are on deck when you are ready.
Did you hear that? He thinks he doesn't have to respond to me because I'm not a resident of Englewood. Isn't that interesting? So, Councilman Ward, I'm going to have some words for you tonight. And, and his little launch after that, the next person he was thanking happens to be the preacher, the pastor, the minister of the church that gets use of this taxpayer-supported facility by way of Englewood Arts. Okay? My opinions were facts. He didn't like the facts because they were spot on. So, of course, he wasn't going to provide any comment to those facts, but he went ahead and praised the preacher that runs the church, right? Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. And the other city council woman, um, Chelsea Noonan Camp, by the way, that's Steve Ward. Okay. That's Steve Ward. And Chelsea Noonan Camp attends the church. And of course she voted to extend the contract. Okay. That is a massive conflict of interest. That entire contract should be null and void because she voted to she voted with interest, with personal interest and personal agenda. It's her damn church. Okay, there's really not a big argument for the separation of church and state here. There just isn't. One would think there is, especially when this church is calling it a church for the city of Englewood, and they happen to have it in the city building, which is in the contract as being supported in the form of all maintenance, cleaning, everything. Everything is provided by taxpayers for this church to hold church in this civic center building paid for with taxpayers. So what camera angle will we be working with tonight? Irish Rover, it's going to be, yeah, John Winchester, thank you. You tell me. Debbie, where does a piece of shit? Hey, fuck them. Don't take public money from state and federal funding. Fuck them through grants and other government agencies. That, you know where I'm going with my public comment. So yeah, thank you for that, Debbie. We're going to be taking the low-high angle this evening. I am going to set you on the floor, and you're going to watch me strip my stuff, do a little shake, do a little shiver, and let it flow. Yeah, taxes are exempt from paying rates and other taxes. Yeah, as a 501c3, to be honest with you, I don't even know what this church is registered as. Okay, I haven't dug into this church because it's really not the church that I have a problem with, whereas it's the nepotism and the people that expect to get their guys on city council to do them favors. Okay, this church, Sacred Grace, I've not seen them do an ounce of any type of homeless outreach. Nothing. I've seen nothing. What they do is all based here with community projects and fairs for people to come here and praise them. So that's all I know really about this church. I'm more interested in how city government is picking winners and losers again. Where's the bidding process for all nonprofits to be able to have an opportunity to hold a contract for a literal Hampton Hall? It's a big space in here with sound and stage and nice cement floors. I took you guys on a little tour of it one day when we were up here. I mean, this is prime space. And what did I say the rate was? Does anybody remember? Was it $600 a week that they were getting use of this? That's not even commercial real estate prices. I mean, that's like renting an apartment here. That kind of money. So you can't even rent a house here for $2,400 a month. Okay. So yeah, they're getting favors. They're definitely getting favors. So another thing that was supposed to happen tonight was Shelly was supposed to meet me here. And so I wasn't sure if my public comment was going to be explaining to Englewood how they continued to fail Shelly and others, people that have a home base in Englewood, but she's not going to make it apparently. So Shelly is still out here, and you guys, it's a bad deal. As you know, I couldn't get an ounce of help in Englewood or Arapahoe County for that matter. They completely just ignored us. We tried to get help through All Health, whose contract here in Englewood states that they will provide wraparound services and homeless case management, which they're just not going to do. And apparently nobody in the city's going to hold them accountable to doing it. So they blew us off, and then Shelly ultimately had her camper stolen by Denver. Remember that whole story? So that cop swooped in, didn't activate his body cam, stole her camper, and but it started to become a problem because people in the neighborhood were demanding that they take her somewhere. So they stuffed her in a motel, clear out in Aurora, way the hell away from here. And she called me and told me, and I'm like, what? And so I tried to reactivate help with Arapahoe County because she was in Arapahoe County. Nothing. No response. No response from the guy that runs Tri-City Homeless, Mike Sandgren. And all of these people are intertwined in all the churches here. It is a very, very bizarre thing. And nobody helps anybody. It's really a fascinating topic. But everybody's got their hands in the government pot for the money. Yeah, we know how this goes. So ultimately, what Tri-City Homeless presented this last week is that they got $6.8 million from the federal government in ARPA funds, the American Rescue Plan funds. Englewood pitched in 1.4 million or something like that. Sheridan pitched in a little bit of money, and Littleton pitched in a little bit of money, and they're going to build a navigation center with a work program here. None of it makes sense. They have no programming. They have nothing lined up to address mental health or addiction or substance use, misuse. 20 beds, and the maximum stay is 28 days. Okay. Makes a lot of sense. So, and they've got no way to fund it. These are one-time funds. So what are they doing? They're gearing up the community. They're gearing up the county. They're gearing up all these methods for a tax increase or additional funding. There's a Proposition 123 in the state of Colorado that's going to dump a bunch of money into local governments for affordable housing. No housing is affordable. On and on and on and on. These are things way down deep in the weeds that I know people don't have a lot of interest in, and you don't unless it's right there in your backyard, but you should, because this is going on everywhere. So after public comment, we'll probably hang around maybe and see what they have to say. I don't know who provides response today to public comment, but let's see how that goes, shall we? Let's head on in. It's almost 7 o'clock. We might have to make a pit stop in the restroom. We might have to have a little chit chat with our buddy Dwight. We'll have to see what it's like to get through security. We'll have to watch awards and applaud and cheering for all the city government employees and all the wonderful awards. Yeah. Yay. All right, you ready? Let's do it. No snow. It's a bit chilly. I heard tomorrow's going to be a little warmer. Well, good evening. How are you? I'm well, thank you. So I was trying to watch the study session, and there was nothing happening on the YouTube channel.
Study session tonight. It starts at 7.
Oh, okay. Well, they started a stream. They started a stream.
Well, they can't start regardless.
Well, it was. Maybe they just started early. Okay, maybe I don't know what's going on. So there was no study session this evening. They're going right into the city council meeting. And we have our buddy Dwight working security this evening. What a gem.
Still getting used to it, but yes, I'm trying to be.
What's happening, Dwight? How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Happy holidays.
Same to you. You all ready?
Thank you.
I'm not ready,
No.
but you know.
No, I'm not. Well, I'm as ready as I'm going to be. Let's
Well,
just say that.
yeah.
Because I'm done.
You know, no, I'm done.
Yeah, I don't do any last minute
I'm
shopping.
sending love this Christmas.
That's good.
I mean, you know,
Everybody's broke. I'm
Yeah.
broke. I can't do
I'm
it.
sending nothing but love.
Yeah, that's the most important. Love and good eats, right?
Yes, that love, family, and all that good stuff.
Right. Are we on a late start here?
You know, we're gonna be in here.
Yeah.
But they go in there and have their little meeting before.
Oh yeah. Well, they're a little late.
Well,
It's like 7
we don't
o'clock.
even get started till 7 tonight for some reason.
Well, it is 7.
Yeah, 7. It is.
It's 7 o'clock, isn't it? Yeah, there's not a lot of people. It's the holidays. Nobody's really paying attention
Yeah,
or
it's been
listening.
slow all day.
Well, that's good for you.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not complaining.
Right?
But I
Who's
miss-
downstairs tonight?
I think it's Joe downstairs, in the library. And they got Alex over there.
Oh, okay. All right, good to know. Alex has been rather pleasant the last few times I've been in. Isn't that nice?
Well,
Maybe he's learning how to do a job with
you
the
know,
public.
We welcome everybody to come in this place.
Thank you. It's about time.
All right.
All right, Dwight, we'll see you later.
Enjoy.
Oh, thank you. Indeed. He's a nice guy. Super nice guy. Well, this isn't going to fly. I still have a problem with this court order. It's from the previous judge. Yeah, so anyway, okay. Hello.
That works for me, thank you.
Okay, that works for me as well. Do you want that sitting here and you want me to go through again?
No. As you can follow, I'm sure. Thank you. Hi, how are you?
There's a couple smart cops in Englewood. Gary, how are you? Doing all right. Doing all right. It's quiet.
Is it up there?
You do? Good for you.
Is it up there? Yeah. I'm not the last one. 7 o'clock. Come on. You take this meeting rolling.
Yeah, it's past 7 o'clock now. I'm just gonna give some rambling public comment this evening. I guess we should look at an agenda.
A few months ago.
What's that?
It's not in here like it was a few months ago.
It's Christmas, right? Let's look at the agenda. So I will be the third speaker in the first round of public comment tonight. The first round is 5 minutes each speaker. Let's sit on this side tonight. Yes, Nerky, that's a good point. I'm an equal opportunity offender keeper. There's Steve Ward and Chelsea Niedenkamp. There's the mayor. Tina's new. Rita Russell is, I think, in her third term, something like that. I like her. Kim Wright is new. Come on, focus. There we go.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's City Council regular meeting for Monday, December 18th. No study session topics for tonight. I call this meeting to order. If you're able to do so, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. City Clerk, if you could please take roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Anderson.
Present?
Member Nudikamp. Present. Member Prane. Present. Member Russell. Present. Member Ward.
Present.
Member Wright. Present. Mayor Sierra.
Present.
All members are present.
I
Thank
think
you.
we're on the
Moving
wrong
on to
side.
consideration of minutes from the previous session. Any changes to the minutes from the regular City Council meeting from December 4th? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes from December 4th.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Member Ward. Please vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Anderson.
Aye.
Member Nudikamp.
Aye.
Member Prane. Aye. Member Russell. Aye. Member Ward.
Aye.
Member Wright. Aye. Mayor Sierra.
Aye.
Let the record show 7 ayes.
Thank you. Moving to appointments, communications, proclamations, and recognition. We want to recognize Deputy City Attorney Victoria McDermott for her appointment to the State Judicial Panel. So the city would like to recognize Deputy City Attorney Vicki McDermott on her recent appointment to the Colorado Supreme Court Hearing Board. This board is responsible for hearing cases related to lawyer discipline, disability, unauthorized practice of law, and law admission cases. Members are
Interesting.
selected based on their legal ethics, diverse experience, and commitment to the community. And Ms. McDermott will sit on will sit on a 3-member hearing board and issue decisions on these cases. The involvement of legal professionals in the hearing board ensures that due process is maintained and the public's confidence in the legal system is strengthened. These are 2 essential elements of regulating the legal profession. Congratulations to Vicki McDermott on your appointment. Congratulations.
Where is she? Sitting down. The blonde. I guess she's not going to get an award.
We're now moving on to the introduction.
Did you guys
of
hear that?
Elizabeth Ramsey, a management fellow here in the
She
city of
is
Englewood.
appointed to
Liz, you here? Good evening.
the group of attorneys that goes after
Liz is
people.
originally from Oregon. Liz was
for the
supervisor
unauthorized
with a Master
practice of
Public
law.
Policy and Administration with a concentration in public management from Colorado State University and holds a Bachelor of Arts in Politics from George Fox University. She recently completed an internship program at the city of Loveland. Management fellow programs are common among local governments used to provide recent graduates with valuable experience. Fellows effectively serve as a project manager, working to proactively advance key projects of an organization. These fellowships generally last for 1 or 2 years. In the city manager's office, Liz will be working on sustainability-related projects in coordination with the sustainability coordinator, including the launch of a sustainability grant program. She'll be assisting the data and analytics manager with developing and implementing a system of tracking performance metrics. She'll be assisting with affordable housing efforts and the city's Tri-Cities homelessness efforts, coordinating recognition at council meetings, and assisting the Public Works Department with process improvements. So please join me in congratulating Liz to the city. Liz, I'm not sure if you have a few words that you want to say for us tonight. I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot now, but welcome to the city of Englewood. Really happy to have you on board and looking forward to some of the improvements that you're looking to make. No, there's a star there. There you go.
All right, yeah, thank you so much. I'm just super happy to be here and happy to be working with this great team here and to work with you all, so thank you.
Liz, we're happy to have you here. Thank you so much. We're now moving on to the recognition of scheduled public comment. The deadline to sign us to speak for scheduled public comment is Wednesday by 5 p.m. prior to the meeting through the city clerk's office. This is an opportunity for the public to address city council. There is an expectation that the presentation will be conducted in a respectful manner. Council may ask questions for clarification, but there will not be any dialogue, and please limit your presentation to 5 minutes. Mayor Pro Tem Joe Anderson will be giving a response to public comment tonight. Up first is Kathleen Bailey.
That'll be that guy, the bald-headed guy. He'll give a response. Public
Moving on
comment.
next to Kelly McCloskey, Englewood resident here to address council. Is Kelly online or in person?
Do not have me online.
Nope. Okay. And then we have Regan Benson here to address council regarding misuse of city resources. Good evening, Ms. Benson. You can just state your name and your address across, please.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you for getting my name right. I really appreciate that. It really doesn't matter where I live. It really doesn't matter where I live, but thank you very much for pronouncing my name correctly. I really appreciate that. And so I don't have a scripted public comment tonight, so I'm just going to talk about some stuff for 5 minutes. And I'm going to start with Steve Ward. So your response to me when I left here from my last public comment was disgusting. You're going to be treated with the same amount of respect that you command. So why don't you go ahead and excuse yourself from public comment right now? You don't matter. Do you? You expect to be treated with respect? You expect presentations to be respectful? You better exude that kind of respect. It doesn't matter if I'm a resident or not of Englewood. Do you care to define how many people that you do favors for are residents here in Englewood? Do you care to define how many people you tell that they don't matter, that are on boards, little pet project groups, commissions, whatever you guys want to call them? How many of those people live in Englewood? I'll bet if I spent just as much time online digging through that stuff as I'm digging through other stuff, I'll learn that there are plenty of people involved in the city of Englewood that aren't residents. And I find it a bit troubling that none of you responded to my email communication when I outlined for you why it doesn't matter if I'm a resident or not. Do you not take state and federal dollars? Yes, you do. You take them with open arms and you spend them generously on your friends and your pet projects. So anybody should be able to make public comment at any time in Englewood, whether it be in person or online, and receive the same respect. So I'm glad I could clear that up for you. And I see you're still interested in public comment. I should just turn my back to you, is what I should do. Don't do it again. So I spent some time this week at your Tri-City homeless meeting, and I just want to point one thing out. I mean, there's a million things to point out with this whole effort and where it's going. More importantly, where it's not going, because it's not being thought out with any due diligence for financial sustainability. The bottom line is, you guys you've already spent over $12 million, and you've got not one thing to show for it. Nothing. You haven't even started dealing with the people yet. Where is the rest of the money going to come from? So some simple math, I just want to do some simple math for you. The $12 million that you guys spent, if you take those data points that you so depend on, like your point in time survey, 168 people, do some math on $12 million for 168 people. That's like $74,000 per person. Do you know what $74,000 could have done for 168 people? You could have housed them. And they wouldn't be out there. You could have brought all the money in, just like you did, and housed all those people, and had more than $50,000 per person left for wraparound services. But now you guys are going to spend another year wasting money, and you still aren't even in the business of dealing with the people that you're supposed to be serving. Which, by the way, one of them, I've talked to you about her before. Her name was Shelley. She was going to come meet me here. Yeah, she's still out on the street. Zero help from Arapahoe County in all facets, including Mike Sandgren. Zero. Nothing. I had to take her over into Denver and start the process over. And guess what? Her housing's approved. She's got a voucher. The apartment's vacant. We're not getting a move-in date because Denver Housing Authority has every single thing on hold for the migrant crisis.
Thank you for your 5 minutes.
You guys need to think harder and longer.
Motions for Ms. Benson? Ms. Benson, thank you for your, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councilmember Wright.
Ms. Benson, you mentioned that you have sent some emails to council.
I have.
You have not received those. Were those prior to December 4th?
They were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you could report those, so that I could receive them?
Yeah, definitely. I can do that. Of course.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, any further questions? No further questions, Ms. Benson, thanks for your time tonight. And with that concludes scheduled public comment. We're moving to unscheduled public comment. Just one
Mayor
speaker
Zero,
tonight.
sorry, just one second, for 3 minutes.
Yeah, unscheduled public comment. We're moving on to Gary Kozak here to address council.
Good evening,
Mr. Kozak. Go ahead.
Larry Kozak, Oxford and Pan. I want to welcome the new members of the board, and you guys are glad you survived the recall. But I'm here on one of the small little issue. I don't know whether you've really been informed or not. The referendum that we filed took in over 1,700 votes. That's signatures. You're disenfranchising them by the fight that you put up when you adequately approved them that we had enough, and then you misappropriated the process. You violated several things on the process. And yes, the courts did turn around and make the claim that it's dropped, but it's not, because we were never notified. We have to publicly be notified in writing, and we were never notified. Okay, so now we finally got a letter 2 days ago from this court, and we have an appeal time, which we will appeal. But remember, 1,700 votes. This was filed, okay, as a class action lawsuit, so each and every person on that lawsuit, each and every person that signed that referendum is a part of this lawsuit. So if I step back out of the way, or this goes down, I've got somebody else if you don't get to go to court. There's all sorts of other people that come in and refile on it. Now, the other thing is, you sit there and say, people are not allowed to be on the board or commission, okay, because of a lawsuit. I'm sorry, but that's not right. That's not on your bylaws, and that's not on your guidelines, okay? We're citizens. We have the rights to come in and apply for a position on a board commission that you have. I've served on several of them. I served on Englewood City Council. Okay? You can try to block all you want, but by law, you have to consider them and their qualifications and what's good for the city of Englewood. All right? And there's been some miscommunication out there, but I'm telling you, if you do that and withdraw an individual from it, remember, out of that 1,700 people that signed that, they're all part of that same issue, and you have board members, you have employees of the city of Englewood that have signed that petition. And if so, you go after one person over here, are you not disqualifying several others that actually signed that and are part of a class action lawsuit? Think about it very carefully, and the attorney, I will advise you properly. And thank you so much, and God bless you. Hope you all have a nice holiday.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kozak, for your time tonight. Any questions for Mr. Kozak? See you none, Mr. Kozak. Thank you for your time and happy holidays. That concludes our scheduled public comments. Mayor Pro Tem, when you're ready, give a response.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Benson and Mr. Kozak for coming out and speaking tonight. I want to speak a little bit to Ms. Benson's comments and just put a little context around the expenditures the city made. First of all, the city didn't spend $12 million. We didn't have access to those funds. However, I do think that the critique that had we had access to spend $12 million, that it would have been a really awesome idea to just house a bunch of people. I think that idea is worthy of consideration. And if somebody does come to city council and says, here's $12 million to spend on homelessness, that would be at the top of my list for discussion. The way this worked out, and it would have been awesome if the $12 million would have been something we could have just decided how to spend. The way this worked out was most of the money came from the ARPA funds, American Rescue Plan Act funds, and we were given these funds by the federal government, as were Littleton and Sheridan and every other city in the country, basically. And our job was to figure out how to best put the money to use. And so we took that money, we said, what can we do with this? Can we use this to move our action plan forward? By the way, one of the ideas behind the action plan was the government isn't always that great at executing services for a variety of things, but for the homeless population particularly. So we said, let's fund some existing programs that have a good track record. That's what we did with a large portion of the money that we invested in homelessness went to Bridge House, which has a really solid track record, and then Cross Purpose also received some of that money, $350,000. Those were two of the places where we said, here are two organizations that have a track record of actually helping people with careers get jobs to get off the street, and we invested in those things. The county, the federal government, as well as private owners came along and filled out the rest of the funds to fund the Bridge House program. We didn't direct those funds. We didn't decide how they would go. And so we ended up, this is what we were doing. We were trying to do the best what we could do with the money that we were allowed, within the constraints of what we were allowed to do with that money, because those ARPA funds came with strings from the federal government. Is it perfect execution? No, probably not. Had we known that $12 million was going to flow in and we could have just directed that money, could we have done something different with it? I don't know. It's hard to go back and rewind the clock and think about how we should have done things had the situation been presented to us differently. So I'm sensitive to the critique. Had we done something with $74,000 per person, it might have been something different had we had the $12 million up front. But that's just not the way it works out. It's because government is fundamentally inefficient in many ways, and that's not the way the funding stream works. And so I think what we have put together with the money is really the best case scenario for the way the money came through. We're funding organizations with a solid track record. The action plan, we've hired really, I think, one employee with that money, Mike Sangren. Otherwise, we're funding nonprofits that have a track record of doing this work, and I think that's a positive thing. I think we have the navigation center has the chance to get some people off the streets. If we could figure out how to do more sheltering that had a longer time period, I think that would be great. But to me, the job is not done, and I think we really are. I said this at the Tri-Cities meeting. we're really dependent on the nonprofits, on people who are out volunteering and doing this work already. And I'm just really proud of the work that our community has put into it. And I think that's really the reason these funds have been directed the way they have, is because the input from many of the nonprofits through Change the Trend had input on the Tri-Cities Homelessness Action Plan. So thank you for the critique, and I appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll have the opportunity to do some direct housing kind of things in the future. As we discussed the Tri-Cities policy meeting, permanent supportive housing, I think, is a big gap in the services provided. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that down the road. So, Mr. Kozak, thanks for coming out to speak again. I'm going to refrain from speaking to any active litigation. So, but we appreciate you taking the time to come out tonight. So, with that, I'll pass it back, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. Any further responses? And with that, we'll move to consent agenda items. So we have 4 items being pulled tonight, 9A1, 2, and 3, as well as 9C1.
Okay, let's go. I don't care
Any
about
other
those.
items that we'd like to remove tonight for consent agenda? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve 9B1 and 2, 9C2 and 3?
Bye, Carrie.
Thank you, Member Newcamp. Can I get a second?
The term permanent supportive housing, I want you to remember that. Permanent supportive housing. We're going to talk about that. All right, Dwight, that was short and sweet,
All right.
and I didn't enjoy it,
Short, sweet, and simple.
but I didn't enjoy it.
Uh,
It was not the most enjoyable thing I
okay.
could have been doing.
Well, hey, as long as you hear it and you having a good time
And survived it.
and survived it, okay.
I didn't have a heart attack, I didn't have a stroke, that's what's important nowadays.
What you told me.
See you later. Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. I want to talk to you about what Joe Anderson responded. And good on him. He didn't act like a moron. So that's a bonus. But we're going to pick that apart. So whatever those strings attached from the federal government were, you should have known ahead of time, okay? And if you're going to continue to take money from the federal government, you better make sure that the people understand what those strings are that are attached to that money. So Bridge House, this is the program that they want to bring here. So Bridge House has a work program, and all I know about Bridge House is people getting kicked out of it. Okay? Bridge House did their presentation, okay, at this Tri-City meeting this last week, and they did not sell themselves very well at all, okay? They don't have any defined programming because they want to put this navigation center into this same building that runs their work program, and they have their own work program where they take people and they go do landscaping and culinary and some other thing that they do. But talk to me about this navigation center that they want, that he is convinced is going to get people off the streets and into housing because it's 20 beds and the max stay is for 28 days. This facility is costing something like $3 million. So Joe Anderson is wrong in that there he goes. He's been very, very pleasant. So I was buffering there for a minute. Did you see Alex from Allied Security? He's been incredibly pleasant. Okay, yeah, he's cordial and inviting now, and yeah, that's great. So it sounds like rehab. Why 28 days? Well, here's the other side of that. There is no rehab. Okay, but during their presentation, they were asked the question, how many of the people that come into your program are suffering with mental illness and or addiction and substance misuse and abuse? And they said everyone. Okay? So right there lies the problem with the programming. So that's a huge red flag, okay? This sounds good, it feels good, but it's not solving anything. And if it's the saying, if you build it, they will come, okay? What's going to happen to the people in the 20 beds? And I don't even know why they're in the beds to begin with. You're not a treatment facility. You're not a medication-assisted facility where you can help people detox or get through those things. There's zero talk about having all health on board or having any type of mental health services. So who's going to do that? Englewood already doesn't hold all health accountable to the contract that the police department runs for them, where their clinicians run around with them in a van and do I don't know what. But I needed all health services for Shelley, and they were all nice to my face at the window that day, and then they told me that they didn't have to talk to me. Okay. There's just so many problems. But what he's talking about now is they've already made all these decisions and contracted with this work program, and they are building the building. I'm gonna go check that out, by the way, probably sometime later this week. And now they're going, oh shit, what are we gonna do? Because we don't have any more money after all of this, and we've already made all these bad decisions, and there's like zero programming. So there's nothing concrete to show that this model, that this bridge house model, which is gonna be all new here in Englewood, is gonna be successful. So you don't take people, what you do is you take people that you handpick for your program, and you put them in there, and they're super successful. Let's just say that. Chronic homelessness, you don't go pluck them off the street and go, you know what, here's a bed for you, and hey, we got a job for you. So we're gonna start work here in a few days, but if you're not feeling good, I mean, we got up to 20 days or whatever. They wanna fill those beds for the people in their work program, okay? And permanent supportive housing. Do you know what that is and what that term means? Permanent supportive housing is programming that wraps services around people that have actually secured permanent housing. That's not a motel room, that's not a safe outdoor space, that's not a micro community, and that's certainly not a bed at this navigation center. And these programs are far and few, and I don't know one of them that is functioning. The evidence shows John, we've talked about John, everybody knows what's going on with John. John needs permanent supportive housing, and he can't even get it, okay? So permanent supportive housing is this giant pipe dream where they would have a bunch of people like what I and a couple of the other advocates do when people get into housing, and we go make sure that they stay in their housing. There's all kinds of things that those people need help with, okay? That's called permanent supportive housing. And there's no successful programs. Supposedly, this bridge house, they say that they provide wraparound for the people that exit their program, but they couldn't define what that wraparound was. Look, I have zero confidence. I don't believe in let's just spend it and try it out and see how it works. I don't believe in that. These guys want to talk about what are best practices. There are no best practices when you're dealing with homelessness. They're individuals, and they need to be treated as individuals, just like children. When the whole individual learning plan became a thing in the public school system, and everybody said, my child has special needs, why do special needs get individual learning plans when every child needs an individual learning plan? Because that's how children learn. They learn as individuals. Well, homelessness isn't any different. You cannot lump everybody into a program and say, this is gonna work. Most of these homeless people can't even work. Everybody's so convinced that all these homeless people are so lazy and nobody wants to work. It's not true. There. That's all I'm going to say. So, nice try, Joe Anderson. I appreciate the respectful response, unlike your cohort that sits next to you, where you guys all go out and pretend like you're doing all this church stuff outside of city council. So anyway, Aurora Transparency, how are you? Regan once mentioned that there was a successful private homeless shelter. Anybody know what she was talking about? When did I say that? What private homeless shelter? The government doesn't let people run private homeless shelters. They're not going to give you any zoning variances to do that unless you're partnering with them, aka doing what they tell you you're going to do. I didn't even get to talk about all the other things I wanted to talk about. Safe parking was another one. They want to include this safe parking initiative, but they've got all these rules where you have to leave during the day. You got to have license, insurance, which this stuff is never going to work unless I don't know if you can see this big empty parking lot. This is all owned by the city of Englewood. This is a giant parking lot. And it's always empty. It's always like this. During the day, there might be 10 more cars here for employees because downstairs is the underneath parking garage, which is usually pretty full. But up here, nope. This is not full. So if you want to do some safe parking here, how about a micro community over here? Look, I'm not opposed to having micro communities now at the cost that they're going on over in Denver. Yeah, I'm opposed to that and what it's going to cost to run them, because even Joe Anderson said it, government does everything inefficiently. But yet he's going along and he's proud of the work, but he admits that it's wholly inefficient. So why don't you step up and speak out? So here's safe parking right here. So I wanted to throw that in there too, but I didn't get that in, so. But there'll be lots more. There'll be lots more time. I'm probably going to have a meeting with Sean Lewis, the city manager. Sean's not an idiot like Dingleberry Granberry over there in Sheridan. And that's the other piece. Sheridan is involved in this. I didn't get to touch on that, about what a flop and failure that's going to be, as they're criminalizing the hell out of those people. Where are they going to go? Straight to Englewood. So who's going to absorb all the cost of this program? It's going to be Englewood, and they're going to have encampments because they're going to be making promises that they can't keep. They're going to tell these people, come to our program, it works. We've only got 20 beds, and if you can't make it, then we'll just kick you out. I said that's all I was going to say. Liberty Blair, are you out? Donovan Turner, well, if anything, please take notes. You are your best advocate. Amanda, thank you. So that's pretty much the gist of that. I like I said, I have a little more, I have some extra time, so I'm going to be spending a little bit more time unraveling this. And what I didn't even talk about Hampton Hall and Sacred Grace. This records request, I sure hope that it's going to be done right. 5 minutes is just not, So hopefully Sean Lewis and I will have a meeting, because Sean Lewis is a voting member. Tri-City Homelessness. I want you guys Good night, Ruth. Thank you for being here. If anyone is interested, please just go read up on it. Can somebody, one of my mods, are you still on here? Amanda, can you Google Tri-City homeless? I want to put this link. Thanks, Angel. Thank you, much appreciated. Happy holidays to you. Tri-Cities homelessness. I just want to put this link in the chat. I can do it from here. There's their website. You guys, please just go take a look at that. There's a lot of missing information on there, as far as the contributions for dollars contributed. Here, I took a picture from the meeting the other night. Englewood has pitched in $1.4 million. Sheridan, $304,000. Littleton, $743,000. Arapahoe County, the actual county, $1.3 million. And the state, $6.8 million. And federal, $1.5 million. Some of those state dollars, well, I think all those state dollars are ARPA funds. So what are the strings? What were the strings attached to the federal dollars, Joe, that tied your hands so badly that you couldn't house 168 people and have $50,000 per person left over? They want data points all the time. Point in time survey, you heard me say 168 people. That's what they count as homelessness in these 3 cities. 168 people. Those numbers are low, but even if they are, double them and you still have all kinds of money. I'm going in the weeds. So the link is in there. Yeah, I get down and dirty. You got that right, AB. They don't have a clue what's going on out here. They have no clue. They've not worked with a single person. They've not navigated this system one time to see. There are no best practices. It's not working. It's not working. Yep, Keeper, that's the amount of money. So again, go check out their website when we're done here with this stream. And if any of you have any deeper thoughts or questions or more ways to look at this, email me, please. My email is in the about section. I still keep my nonprofit email, Regan@helpinghandsfordignity.org, and then communityforumsforus@gmail.com. That's my email that I have in the about section right now. I have a heater for Shelly and Gino, her brother. They're living in his vehicle. I was hoping she'd make it this way, but they were scrapping and trying to scrounge up some money. This situation, this one I will see through, but they're going to be out on the street for Christmas. They're not going to be in any housing. And so I need to decide if and how I'm going to address that. But at the very least, they need a heater. So that's that. Go check out Tri-Cities Homelessness and email me, please. Okay? And yeah, thanks, Belinda. What practices? Snarky user, I love your emails. Keep them coming, please. I always like to read. I might not get to all of them, you guys, but I do. I do see those emails. So please, if you have some thoughts after you kind of look at that Tri-Cities homelessness plan, let me know. And remember who's involved in that. Englewood, Littleton, and Sheridan. Okay? All right, you guys. One more thing the end of this week. And I'm not going to tell you my whereabouts or what time it's going to be so I can hopefully go in peace. There's a memorial. Colorado Coalition for the Homeless does an annual vigil for all the folks that have passed away out on the streets living homeless. They do it annually. I've never gone because I just can't really handle that this year. Jesse and Cowboy are on that list. So please come with me when I go live this week to that memorial. And I think it's important. It's some closure. I've got a lot more news about Cowboy and what Arapahoe County is pulling, or Adams County. It's a mess. I'm still fighting. She's still hanging in there with me, but I'm fighting like hell. And I'm not going to stop until I feel like it's time to stop. So, but we'll talk about that another time. But come with me to the memorial, please. So just watch for the next time I go live. Bye, guys. Thanks for being here.